You can feel it, the shift. Something in the energy has changed. The divine feminine is no longer waiting, begging, or hoping. She's standing in her truth, and that truth is what will punish the divine masculine, but not through anger, not through words, through silence, through peace, through her absence, because this time she's not reacting, she's not chasing, she's not lowering her vibration to meet him where he hides. She has stepped into divine alignment, and the universe always reacts to alignment. The masculine, who once felt in control, will now feel powerless. The energy he ignored will confront him. The love he rejected will haunt him. And the feminine he thought would always be there won't. He will see her shining, detached, untouchable. He will feel her energy gone, her focus returned to herself, her aura transformed. And suddenly, everything he ran from becomes everything he can't escape. This is not punishment. This is reflection. The universe isn't being cruel. It's being fair. Because when the divine feminine passes her final test, the masculine must face his own. The same mirror he avoided now stands in front of him, and it shows him the cost of silence, pride, and delay. This is what happens when energy flips. When the chaser becomes whole, when the healer becomes free, when the one who once begged for love finally remembers she is love. And now the question is not, will he come back? The question is, can he face himself when he does? There comes a moment when the universe stops testing your patience and starts testing your power. For the divine feminine, this is not just another phase. It's the moment when love stops being longing and silence stops being pain. It's the point where she finally understands. She doesn't need to prove her heart anymore. She only needs to protect her peace. This is your final test, and it's not about how much you can wait for him. It's about how much you can stand in truth without him. For so long, you carried the connection. You prayed. You cried. You forgave. You believed, even when he doubted, resisted, and ran. You held the thread because your soul knew something deeper than logic. It wasn't obsession, it was recognition. But now, something inside you has changed. The pull feels different. The silence feels lighter. The ache that once broke you has turned into peace. You don't feel the need to heal him anymore, do you? Because you've realized that healing him was never your job. It was always his choice. That's when the universe begins your final test. Detachment. And detachment doesn't come as chaos. It comes as calm. It's not a storm outside. It's a stillness within. It's the strange serenity that comes when you stop trying to make sense of what your soul already understands. You stop chasing signs. You stop reading silence as rejection. You stop needing closure because you are the closure. And that's when everything flips. The universe starts to pull you back into yourself. The energy that once rushed toward him now returns to your body. You feel lighter. Your spirit begins to breathe again. The weight of waiting lifts. The noise fades. And for the first time in what feels like lifetimes, you feel free. But that freedom has a vibration that he cannot ignore. Because while you rise, he begins to fall. Not because the universe is punishing him, but because energy must balance. Everything you carried for him, the emotion, the hope, the pain, now returns to its rightful place. He begins to feel what you once felt. The roles reverse. The mirror activates. And you no longer feel the need to check the reflection. You no longer wonder what he's doing, thinking, or feeling, because you finally understand. His silence was never yours to fix. It was his to break. The final test of the feminine isn't about walking away. It's about walking forward. It's not about forgetting him. It's about remembering yourself. Your journey stops being about waiting for his love and starts being about embodying yours. You stop asking, "When will he come?" and start asking, "What is my soul asking me to become?" You realize your role was never to make him awaken. It was to awaken the world through your example. Because when you rise, the frequency of the whole connection rises with you. The feminine who passes this test is unstoppable. She doesn't harden, she softens, but in the right direction. She doesn't close her heart, she refines it. She doesn't fight for alignment, she is alignment. And that, ironically, is what will call him home. Your strength no longer comes from how much you can hold on, but from how gracefully you can let go. Your softness no longer means vulnerability. It means mastery. Because only a woman who truly knows love can release it and still radiate it. This test isn't about loss. It's about graduation. It's about stepping into your next level of divinity. You no longer need to earn love. You are love. You no longer wait for connection. You embody connection. And when you pass this final test, everything changes. The love you once chased begins to chase you. The energy you once gave returns multiplied. And the divine whispers in the silence you used to fear, "My daughter, this was never about him. It was about you remembering who you are." When the divine feminine passes her final test, the energy always flips. It's universal law. Everything she once carried for him, the love, the hope, the belief, the light, returns to her. And when that happens, the divine masculine is left standing in the mirror she used to hold up for him. This is where his real awakening begins. At first, he doesn't understand what's happening. He just feels something missing. The energy that used to surround him, that quiet, unseen force that made him feel safe even when he pushed her away, is gone. He feels disconnected from something he can't name. Restless, uneasy, lost. But what he's feeling isn't her absence, it's his reflection. Because when the feminine takes her energy back, the masculine meets himself. All the feelings he avoided by running from her, the guilt, the longing, the shame, the love, rise to the surface at once. The silence that once protected him now confronts him. And in that silence, the mirror appears. It doesn't show him the woman he ignored. It shows him the man he's become. He sees the patterns he repeated, the opportunities he let die, the fear that ruled every decision. He starts to see himself through her eyes, and for the first time, he doesn't like what he sees. This is his reckoning, because the feminine's absence is not punishment, it's truth returning home. And that truth is loud. It echoes in his mind, in his body, in his dreams. The same energy he once dismissed is now the energy he can't stop feeling. Have you ever noticed how, after you let go, he suddenly reappears in your thoughts? How the moment you stop chasing, he starts showing up in your energy again. That's not coincidence. That's the mirror. The moment your focus returns to you, the universe reflects it back to him. And now, the masculine begins to experience everything the feminine once endured. The longing, the uncertainty, the spiritual pull that won't let him rest. He starts to replay the memories, not to romanticize, but to understand. He begins to realize how many times she extended grace he never deserved. How often she stayed when he gave her every reason to leave. How her love wasn't weakness, it was divine endurance. The mirror teaches him by making him feel what she felt. And that is what makes this stage so powerful and painful. He finally experiences the energy he once ignored. Every time he resisted love, avoided communication, or silenced his intuition, it all returns, not as punishment, but as education. But here's the secret. The feminine doesn't need to do anything to make this happen. Her silence is the activation. Her peace is the mirror. Her detachment is the justice. The universe is handling the rest. He may try to distract himself. He may seek validation, attention, or control, but nothing works anymore. No matter what he does, he feels her energy missing, and the loss of that frequency begins to awaken him, because he's finally learning what she learned long ago. You don't know the value of divine energy until it's gone. And now he's the one staring at his phone, feeling the emptiness of no message coming through. He's the one wondering, is she thinking of me? He's the one realizing that the connection wasn't a fantasy, it was real, and he mishandled it. The masculine faces his own reflection so he can evolve beyond the version that hurt her. He's not being punished, he's being purified. The mirror doesn't exist to shame him, but to show him what love really means: sacrifice, humility, surrender. And only through that can he meet her at the level she now vibrates at. So if you, the feminine, feel distant from him, don't mistake that distance as loss. It's preparation, because while you rise in clarity, he descends into awakening. The space between you is the classroom where the universe teaches him everything he refused to learn before. And when the lesson is complete, the mirror will shift again. He will finally understand what it meant when you said, "I love you enough to let you go." Because only now will he see the truth behind that love. It was never control. It was freedom. It was faith. It was divine alignment disguised as heartbreak. He is not being punished. He is being shown. Shown what love really is, and what it feels like to lose it until he learns to hold it with sacred hands. The universe never forgets energy. Every thought, every tear, every act of love you've given in truth has been recorded in the field. Nothing is ever lost, only redistributed. And now, Divine Feminine, the universe is moving to balance the scales. For so long, you were the giver. You poured, you waited, you prayed, you believed. You carried not only your heart, but his healing too. You sent light to his darkness, forgiveness to his ego, compassion to his confusion. And though you often wondered, does the universe even see me? It did. It always did. It just wasn't time. Because energetic justice doesn't come when you demand it. It comes when you're ready for it. And now you are. This is the stage where the balance begins to reverse. The masculine, once shielded by your light, now has to stand in his own shadow, not as punishment, but as initiation. Because the universe doesn't punish, it teaches, it mirrors, it aligns. Every ounce of energy you gave away in love is now returning to you. But it doesn't come back as longing. It comes back as power. The love that once made you cry now makes you rise. The hope that once hurt you now fuels your purpose. The silence that once broke you now becomes your sanctuary. Can you feel that shift in your body lately? That sudden peace after the storm? That's balance. That's justice. That's the energy of the universe, restoring what was always yours. Meanwhile, he feels what you once felt: the absence, the uncertainty, the ache of disconnection. The same vibration that humbled you is now his teacher, because the only way he can understand what you endured is by walking through it himself. That's how divine balance works, not by cruelty, but by reflection. For lifetimes, the feminine learned how to love through pain. Now the masculine must learn how to awaken through loss. Because loss is what humbles the ego, and humility is what opens the heart. You may be tempted to reach out, to soften, to explain, but don't. The universe is doing what your words never could. It's not about revenge, it's about restoration. You are not his lesson, you are his mirror. And when your light retreats, the only way he can find it again is by becoming it. That's why you're being guided to focus inward, to nurture yourself, your path, your calling, because the more you rise, the clearer the reflection becomes for him. The higher you vibrate, the harder it is for him to ignore what he's lost. Your evolution forces his transformation. It always has. The balance between divine feminine and divine masculine is the heartbeat of this entire journey. It's the pulse that keeps both souls evolving. When one ascends, the other is pulled upward, even if it happens through pain. That's how energy equalizes. So when you see signs of him struggling, sleeplessness, restlessness, sudden memories, regret, know that it's working. The mirror is active. The universe is correcting what ego distorted. He's not being destroyed, he's being aligned. And you are no longer the healer. You are the healed. You are no longer waiting for him to awaken. You are the reason he will. Because your light doesn't chase anymore. It commands. It doesn't beg. It magnetizes. It doesn't serve from depletion. It radiates from abundance. This is divine justice, not in the human sense, but in the cosmic sense. The energy is neutral, but it always returns home. And right now, it's coming back to you, stronger, purer, cleaner. You gave from love, so love returns. You forgave in faith, so peace returns. You let go in truth, so freedom returns. This is the law of energetic equilibrium. What was once imbalance becomes harmony. What was once chaos becomes order. What was once heartbreak becomes purpose. The universe restores balance not by punishing one side, but by awakening both. And as it does, you'll realize something profound. You never lost anything, you were just being prepared to receive it in a higher form. Because when divine balance arrives, it doesn't give you back what you had. It gives you what you deserve. Why his pain is actually his awakening. The divine masculine is entering the stage. The feminine once knew too well the stage of divine discomfort. It's not punishment, it's purification. Because the universe never wastes pain, it repurposes it into awakening. For him, this phase feels like everything is collapsing at once. The people, the habits, the distractions that once kept him safe are now slipping through his fingers. He tries to control it, but control doesn't work anymore. He tries to run, but there's nowhere left to hide. Because what's collapsing isn't his life. It's the illusion that kept him asleep. You remember that feeling, don't you? That moment when everything fell apart. Not because you did something wrong, but because your soul refused to keep living small. That's what he's going through now. The same mirror, the same lessons. Only this time, it's his turn to face them. His pain is not chaos, it's correction. It's the energy of the universe shaking him awake, whispering, "You can't keep living like this." You've seen the truth, and the more he resists, the louder the correction becomes. Because love will do whatever it takes to bring him back to consciousness, even if it means breaking him open. Everything he once avoided in you is now echoing inside him. The love he rejected, he now longs for. The connection he dismissed, he now dreams of. The silence he created, he now fears. And that's the beauty of divine order. The energy always returns to its source. He's not being punished for hurting you. He's being initiated through the same pain that once awakened you. It's divine symmetry. You learned your power through surrender. He's learning his through loss. Because sometimes the only way a man learns the value of divine love is by feeling the void it leaves behind. Have you ever wondered why, just when you finally let go, he suddenly begins to feel everything you once felt? It's because you passed the vibration back. The moment you chose yourself, the universe handed him the lesson. It said, "Now you learn what she had to learn through you." He's walking through his own dark night of the soul now. The same void that once broke your heart is now breaking his illusions. He's realizing that what he thought was freedom was actually fear. What he called control was actually avoidance. What he believed was indifference was emotional paralysis. And as his ego falls apart, something inside him begins to stir: the soul. This pain is the sound of his soul waking up. It's the vibration of awareness rising through the rubble of pride. It's the first heartbeat of his truth returning. But awakening always comes with fire, and he's learning now that transformation burns before it heals. The universe is forcing him to see what love actually means. It's not comfort, it's growth. It's not control, it's surrender. It's not possession, it's presence. And he's realizing that the feminine wasn't trying to fix him. She was trying to show him what real love looks like. He'll remember her laughter when his world feels heavy. He'll hear her voice when everything else goes quiet. He'll see her light in every person he tries to replace her with and fail. Because the truth of a divine feminine cannot be erased. It echoes. You may not see it, but right now, he's feeling it all. The loneliness, the regret, the understanding that love was never supposed to be this hard. He made it hard. And the same stillness that healed you is now reshaping him. He's learning the sacred truth of the mirror. You can't outrun the soul that was sent to awaken you. He ran from the love because he wasn't ready to meet himself. But now that's exactly who he's facing. His pain is his initiation. It's how the ego breaks so the heart can speak. It's how divine justice unfolds, not through vengeance, but through understanding. The masculine must feel everything he caused, not to be punished, but to be purified, to become the version of himself that love was always calling him to be. So when you, the feminine, feel peace where you once felt ache, that's the sign. He's entering the same fire you already survived. The roles have reversed, and the universe is balancing everything perfectly. His pain is not the end, it's the doorway. Because the same pain that once awakened you is now awakening him. And when he emerges from it, if he chooses truth, he won't just recognize you, he'll understand you. The most powerful thing the divine feminine can do during the reversal is this: nothing. Not because she doesn't care anymore, but because she finally understands that her energy, not her effort, is what transforms everything. For so long, she believed her love could save him. She thought if she held enough space, prayed hard enough, forgave enough, he would awaken. But this stage isn't about trying anymore. It's about allowing. Because the feminine's role in this reversal is not to chase, fix, or even guide. It's to embody. You've already done the healing, haven't you? You've cried until your spirit had no tears left. You've surrendered not once, but 100 times, hoping something would change. And when nothing did, you changed. That was the moment everything shifted in your favor. Now the universe needs you to hold that vibration. Because every time you choose peace instead of panic, alignment instead of anxiety, faith instead of fear, you shift the entire field. The masculine is learning through the silence you once begged him to break. And it's that silence, your stillness, your surrender, that is teaching him now. He doesn't need another message. He doesn't need another reminder of the love you've already proven. He needs to feel what life is like without your constant energetic support, because only then will he understand what that support truly was. Your absence is his mirror. Your peace is his lesson. Your glow is his trigger and his invitation. Have you noticed how the more you focus on your purpose, the stronger the signs between you become? That's not coincidence. That's confirmation. When you rise, you pull him upward energetically. When you center yourself, the field stabilizes. And when you release attachment, the connection becomes pure again. No fear, no need, no control. This reversal is where you graduate from healer to embodiment. You're no longer healing him through effort. You're healing him through resonance, because your energy, once rooted in longing, now vibrates as love in its purest form. Not love that asks, when will he come back? But love that says, I am whole, and what's meant for me cannot miss me. The masculine is now in the classroom of his own soul, but you are the frequency that guides him through it, not by speaking, but by existing. Every boundary you hold teaches him respect. Every dream you pursue teaches him purpose. Every moment you choose yourself teaches him what divine love looks like in action. This is the paradox of divine connections. When you stop carrying him, he finally begins to walk. And when you stop trying to wake him, the echo of your silence becomes the alarm he can't ignore. You are not abandoning him. You are allowing him to meet the version of you that his old vibration could never reach. Because love isn't meant to keep you small. It's meant to make both souls rise. So your role now is sacred simplicity. Stay grounded. Stay open. Stay sovereign. The universe is orchestrating everything behind the scenes. The detours are divine. The delays are protection. And your patience is no longer passive. It's power in stillness. If you ever doubt your role, remember this. You are the calibration point of the connection. When you are in peace, the connection is in truth. When you are in chaos, the reflection distorts. That's how powerful your energy is. You are not waiting for him to return. You are holding the frequency for him to rise. And as you continue to embody that peace, the karmic debris between you dissolves. What once was heavy becomes clear. What once was confusing becomes illuminated. What once was one-sided becomes balanced. The feminine's role in this phase is both gentle and revolutionary. To be so anchored in her divinity that nothing external pulls her off center. Because when she holds that light steady, the masculine has no choice but to evolve or fall away. Either way, she wins. Because the test was never about reunion, it was about remembrance. You are not just the counterpart. You are the catalyst. You are the mirror, the healer, the living embodiment of divine balance. And as you continue to walk in your light, the connection will do what it's always meant to. Follow your lead. Because this time, love doesn't return through effort. It returns through energy. When the mirror activates, everything begins to shift. Not just around you, but through you. You may not see it with your eyes, but you feel it deep in your energy. It's the moment when the connection flips from external chase to internal reflection. And if you're paying attention, you can sense the balance restoring itself in the most unexpected ways. The first sign is peace, real, grounded peace. It doesn't come from him calling or returning, but from you no longer needing him to. You wake up and realize you're not checking your phone anymore. You're not waiting for signs to confirm what you already know. You feel free, even in uncertainty. That peace isn't random, it's alignment. It's the universe showing you that you've passed your side of the lesson. The second sign is energetic reversal. You feel your energy returning. Where you once felt drained, you now feel charged. The places that used to ache when you thought of him start to feel neutral. You can think of him with compassion instead of pain. That's the vibration of sovereignty, and it's what triggers the mirror on his side. Because when you release him in love, the universe redirects that energy straight back into your field. The third sign is reflection through emotion. You might start having moments where you suddenly feel waves of emotion that aren't yours. Tears that come out of nowhere. Sudden flashes of memory or restlessness. That's not regression. That's resonance. It means he's feeling the weight of what you released, and you're sensing the echo. The mirror always transmits energy both ways, but now it's him who's processing the density you already transcended. Have you noticed how sometimes when you finally move on, he suddenly reappears in your energy again? A song, a dream, a thought, something small but persistent. That's because the mirror is active. Your release pulled him into awakening, and now the energy is circling back. It's not a sign to chase. It's a sign to stay still, because movement from him is not confirmation of union. It's confirmation that your energy has shifted the field. The fourth sign is divine timing becoming visible. Opportunities start flowing again. Synchronicities multiply. Your intuition becomes louder, clearer, more direct. It feels like the universe is rewarding your discipline with direction. You're being repositioned, not as the chaser, but as the creator. The more you follow that flow, the more the mirror aligns him to follow in spirit. Your timeline expands while his compresses. What took you years to learn, he now experiences in months. That's the acceleration of divine justice. The fifth sign is his energetic pull returning, but differently this time. You might feel him missing you, not in words, but in energy. His thoughts reach for you. His soul calls out. You feel it like a heartbeat in the distance, but you no longer run toward it. You observe it. You know that if it's true alignment, it will anchor itself naturally. And that stillness is what confirms your mastery. The sixth sign is emotional neutrality. You can feel him, see him, even dream of him, and still remain centered. You've reached a point where your love no longer comes with expectation. It's love that exists because you are love. That vibration is what turns karmic bonds into divine unions, not attachment, but awareness. And the final sign is internal clarity. You no longer wonder what your purpose is. You feel guided again, inspired, alive. It's like your entire body becomes a channel of truth. The confusion fades, and the feminine wisdom that once felt buried begins to speak again. You start creating, manifesting, and shining from the same energy that once ached for him. That's how you know the mirror is fully active, because the same love that used to bind you now liberates you. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. They are the signs that your energy has done what lifetimes of words could not. You are no longer mirroring his wounds. You are mirroring his potential. And now he must choose whether to meet you at that level or stay in the reflection of his own shadow. The mirror has no bias. It simply reflects truth. And truth, once seen, cannot be unseen. The divine feminine's only task now is to hold that truth with grace, to let the mirror do its work while she continues walking in alignment, peace, and purpose. Because once the mirror activates, love is no longer a chase. It's an awakening, and that awakening is the real beginning of union. The journey of the divine feminine was never meant to destroy her. It was meant to refine her, and everything that once felt like punishment was actually preparation. The silence, the distance, the heartbreak, none of it was cruelty. It was divine choreography. Because the universe doesn't punish awakening souls, it purifies them. You didn't suffer because you were weak. You suffered because you were strong enough to hold the vibration of truth while everyone else was still asleep. You were chosen to walk through fire so you could remember that you are the fire. And now, as the mirror turns, you finally see the purpose behind the pain. The masculine's awakening may look like consequence, but in reality, it's alignment. The same energy that once pressed on your heart is now pressing on his. The lessons that once shaped you are now shaping him. The love that once broke you open is now breaking him free. Can you see how perfect that is? How nothing was ever wasted. How even the most painful parts were always moving you closer to power, to peace, to divine remembrance. The feminine's pain was never random. It was an initiation. Every time she thought she was losing herself, she was actually returning to her essence. Every time she thought the universe was silent, it was simply listening, waiting for her to stop begging and start believing. And now the feminine stands where she was always meant to, sovereign, balanced, radiant. She no longer looks at her past with resentment, but with reverence. Because she understands that what she endured didn't punish her, it positioned her. She carries the codes of patience, compassion, resilience, and divine trust. And that energy is the foundation of the new union. The masculine's pain, though sharp, is sacred. He must now face what she faced, not as revenge, but as redemption. He is walking through her old lessons so he can meet her in truth. Because union cannot happen while one is awake and the other sleeps. The mirror makes sure of that. Have you ever looked back and realized that everything the universe took from you was actually protection? That the silence you hated was the space where your strength was built? That the love you lost was the mirror that revealed the love within you? That's divine justice. Balance disguised as heartbreak. The feminine now understands that justice doesn't always look like apology or return. Sometimes it looks like peace. Sometimes it looks like closure without contact. Sometimes it looks like the masculine waking up long after she has already moved on and realizing what he lost. But even that is sacred, because every awakening, no matter how late, serves the same divine equation: evolution. This isn't the end of the story. It's the equilibrium point, the moment when the pain finally reveals its purpose. The universe is fair, but fairness in the spiritual sense isn't about reward or punishment. It's about resonance. You receive what you are. You attract what you've healed. You live what you've learned. So when the feminine looks at her journey now, she sees it differently. She no longer says, "Why did this happen to me?" She says, "This happened for me." Because through it all, she didn't just find him. She found God inside herself. And the masculine? He is finally learning that same truth. He's discovering that the only way back to her is through himself. That the punishment he feels is not cruelty, it's correction. That his pain isn't loss, it's love asking to be reborn. The mirror has done its work. The cycle is complete, and the energy that once felt heavy now stands purified, ready for whatever form union is meant to take. Because divine justice is never about pain returning to pain. It's about love returning to love. And now, both sides of this connection are being guided back, not to each other first, but to truth. So if you, the divine feminine, are hearing this, let this be your confirmation. You were never being punished. You were being prepared. The universe never broke you. It built you. And every tear you cried became the light that will one day guide him home. This is not the ending. It's the restoration. The moment when the divine finally whispers, "Justice isn't revenge, it's balance." And balance, my love, is the beginning of peace.